Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video, I'm talking about moon opposite Saturn in Synastry. So, this aspect is actually very common in relationship charts and Synastry charts. It creates a powerful attraction to each other and a feeling that this could be it. The moon person can really sense that the Saturn person could be a stable influence, someone who could give them what they want in a practical sense. And the Saturn person kind of feels the same way, that the moon person could really be the one to give them that balance that they need. So, whenever we have opposition aspects, we're going to have that vibe of opposites attract, right? So, the thing with this aspect that makes it kind of difficult is that half the time we can feel like we're really in this amazing relationship that provides all our wants and needs, and it's just so stable and it's everything. And then the other half of the time we can feel like, what are we doing? It's like we have nothing in common. We're going in different directions. We're probably being made miserable by this relationship. This is very funny that like it's funny to hear this playing out. This is a very common aspect that I've seen with my clients, and it usually does come with a lot of doubt. And it's so interesting because it can be a very good relationship, but usually the moon person feels a kind of heaviness with the Saturn person. And it also depends on the Saturn person's Saturn. Like, how do they express that? Because a potential of this aspect is that the Saturn can react to the moon in a very cold or unfeeling manner, or, trying to get the moon person to, be less emotional, or be like, and trying to like parent them, but in a way that's very lacking in warmth. And so that can be one of the major difficulties of this aspect, this opposition, is just if the Saturn person expresses their Saturn in a more authoritative or like a mean daddy Saturn way, right? Like, how are you going to be daddy? Are you going to be a nice daddy, or are you going to be a mean daddy? And that is ultimately up to the Saturn person, what kind of daddy they're going to be. So, with that being said, a theme of this relationship could be father issues. And that could be one of the purposes of being in this relationship, is that we're healing father issues. We're healing fourth house issues, early child issues. It's like a fourth, 10th opposition. So, like, yeah, we're healing these IC issues, the fourth house, these inner emotional feelings and patterns from early childhood, or even beyond, deep in our lineage's background. And we're healing those in order to be more effective in our day-to-day life, in our careers, in our purpose, in our calling. So this opposition is so significant to see in synastry. Like I said, it's very common, and it does tend to show like a fourth house, 10th house theme, no matter what house it's occurring in. It's just the nature of moon and Saturn, the natural rulership of the IC and the midheaven. So it's very significant for healing inner child wounds, healing familial patterns, like I said, healing generational patterns. So when you have this, it's one of the more karmic aspects to have in synastry. And it doesn't necessarily mean a negative karma. It just means that karmic issues are going to come up. Emotional issues will likely come up. And one person or both people could feel restricted by it. It's a very heavy aspect, but there's also a lot of caring for each other and a lot of attachment. It's very hard to break the bond of a moon Saturn opposition. It feels so deep and it feels so ancient. And, it actually can feel comfortable. It can feel comforting because it feels like family. And also, there is this sense that we found someone who can stabilize us, right? Like we found our match. And even though it can be a difficult relationship, we really can feel like we found our counterpart, and we can want to commit to this. We can want to work on this. And it's not going to be easy. It's not a light-hearted relationship. I would hope you have other aspects that will show more fun and play. Um, it's a serious relationship that will bring you a lot of learning and, yeah, a lot of like inward focus that can lead to a more effective outward energy that you project. Isn't that so cool what the laptop just did? I don't know how to do that. I don't know why it's doing that, but I like it. So it was trying to impart to you that this aspect can be like a celebration once you overcome these tense difficulties. But if the rest of the synastry is not showing more lighthearted things, or there isn't a lot of other fun compatibility, which I would say would be like Venus stuff, moon stuff, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, fun things, good aspects, easier aspects. This one could be too heavy. Like it could just be too much a burden to bear when we have this aspect. But it'll be very hard to break, because they want each other, they want to make it work, but at times it can just feel insurmountable in the level of difficulties. And yeah, the moon person can feel like the Saturn person is a wet blanket, and the Saturn person can feel like the moon person is too emotional or too reactive to them, and they're not meaning usually to be so cold, but that's just sometimes how they act. But in certain signs this could work out better, like and the moon person's moon, like if they're like a Capricorn moon or something like that, they're going to be more comfortable with this energy, right? So you have to look at things like that to see whether the people will be comfortable with this. But it does generally show a lot of caring, and it's like a sticky glue, right? You can't let this go. You can't live with them, you can't live without them. But it can be favorable. I would also look to other aspects to the person's moon, seeing if there's lighter things going on, and yeah, it is one of those aspects that makes a relationship stick, makes a relationship last. It's quite common in sessions that I've done, and it's actually probably been the most common moon Saturn aspect that I've seen actually in my sessions. And it does usually show this theme of like, yeah, can't live with them, can't live without them kind of thing. And it does bring stability, and that stability could be boring to some people. Like it's not a super fun time, but they're there and they're always there. It's like the old ball and chain, right? Like that's kind of like what this aspect can feel like at times. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this aspect. If you've had it in your synastry, was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments, you guys, and we will talk soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.